Mathew Kyalo, who is a renowned lawyer. And when he went to court, he categorically stated, we are here, we want that judgment produced before court.
Kung'u Muigai says 17 judges were bribed. His lawyer Mathew Mbobu was fighting that case in court. Hours later, Mbobu is shot dead. The very next morning, the judiciary refutes everything, calls it baseless. Now Kenyans are asking, who wanted Mbobu dead? Who benefits from his death? Who is telling the truth? And what is the end game? If the judiciary is supposed to be the last line of justice, what happens when that line looks like it's sinking? On Tuesday morning, Captain Kung'u Muigai, Uhuru Kenyatta's cousin, went to the press. He accused the judiciary of corruption in his 3-decade legal battle with Kenya Commercial Bank, naming 17 judges he claims were bribed.
We have no other arguments. We just want that judgment. Again, the lawyer of KCB, Philip Nyachote, admitted that judgment does not exist. But when they delivered their judgment, the 5 judges, Newton Makadia, Mukathurima Muinoti, Orekantai, Mativo, and Tuyot, they ruled that indeed that judgment is there. They used the word that this judgment is in all the records of this court. And I came to learn through the same friend of mine that they received a bribe of $2.5 million, which was paid in the firm of a prominent lawyer here in Nairobi. My witnesses are ready and willing to give evidence in camera.
By evening that same day, his lead counsel Mathew Kyalo Mbobu was gunned down in Karen. A motorcycle hit squad. One lawyer silenced hours after his client accused judges of corruption.
Wenye walikuwa kwa gari wanasema walikuwa watu wawili. Wakati alishoot, alikimbia tu na kukalia yenye ilikuwa tayari pale juu. Hivyo ndio waliona. Wakati walipiga kelele, wakitoka kwa gari waenda wakishika hiyo mtu. Huyo mtu alikalia tu pikipiki na kuenda. Na wale wa juu wakajaribu kutoka kwa magari huko juu, tayari pikipiki imeshakata mbio. Kwa sababu pande ya kwenda Rongai tulikuwa na jamu kubwa, lakini pande nyingine hatukuwa na jamu. Sasa wakati walipiga kelele, nini unafanya? Tayari amekalia pikipiki yenye ilikuwa ready pale juu.
The following morning, Judiciary spokesperson Paul Ndemo dismissed Kung'u's claims as malicious and unfounded. He argued dissatisfaction with the rulings is not proof of bribery and reminded Kenyans that some of the judges Kung'u named had long retired or passed away. But for many Kenyans, the timing is too sharp to dismiss. Accusations in the morning, assassination by evening, rebuttal the next day. This is not just about accusations. It's about a loan gone bad and a coffee estate worth billions. In 1989, KCB approved a 23 million Kenyan shillings loan to Benjo linked to Kung'u. Only 3 million Kenyan shillings was disbursed, with penalties, arrears ballooned over to 100 million Kenyan shillings. In 2007, KCB sold 443 acres of Muiri Coffee Estate, valued at 3 billion Kenyan shillings, for only 70 million Kenyan shillings to BD Kenya Limited. Kung'u says this was fraud. His lawyer Mbobu argued the pledged securities were Nyandarua properties, not Muiri Coffee.
In 1989, I applied for a loan from KCB through my company, Benjo Amalgamated Limited, to start a floriculture business for growing flowers to export to Europe. The bank approved a loan of 23 million, and they asked me to put initial capital of 13 million to buy the farm, prepare the farm, irrigate it. And I did all that, and I grew 25 acres of flowers. But when the time came for export, which is the most expensive part of this project, we were in the middle of fighting for Section 2A, Mount Party, and I was on the side of fighting for Mount Party, and therefore the government was not very happy, and they stopped my loan. They had only disbursed 9 million out of 23. They stopped the loan and they foreclosed it. They started demanding payment. I went to court and sued them for breach of contract through High Court case number 1219 of 1992. Before the case proceeded, the file got lost, and I applied for the file to be reconstructed. I filed my plaint, my chamber summons, my affidavit, but the bank said verbally that the matter had been settled through a consent judgment where I agreed that I owe the bank and I'll pay them. I protested because there was nothing like that. The order was supposed to have been recorded by Justice Erastus Gethenji. We went to him through an application, and he dismissed. He said there's no judgment like that. But the bank went to the Court of Appeal before Justice Kwach, Justice Tunoi, and Justice Bosile. And they ruled that indeed that judgment is there, although they didn't see it. They said I must have stolen the file.
The poke on judiciary conduct continues to escalate as former LSK President Nelson Harvey has now come out to push the JSC to publish the consent order and the judgment which Captain Kung'u Muigai claims is non-existent.
Captain Kung'u raised two fundamental questions yesterday, which if the Judiciary and Judicial Service Commission wanted to put this matter to rest, they would have responded with documented evidence. Number one, he said there is an alleged consent claimed to have been made on 4th May 1992, which to date is non-existent. Number two, Captain Kung'u Muigai stated there is an alleged judgment claimed to have been made many years ago and is not cited. And it is these two documents that have been continuously used to assert that his claim is res judicata and therefore an abuse of the court process. This is what we want of the Judicial Service Commission and the judiciary. Can you give us the consent and the judgment that found liability against Captain Kung'u Muigai and his company on this matter? This must be done because the role and duty of adjudicating disputes is a serious role. We cannot have judges who are corrupt, judges who take money, judges who subvert the course of justice, sitting as judges to determine disputes between Kenyans.
KCB insists a 1992 consent order allowed recovery of debt through the sale. Kung'u denies any such consent exists. In 1998, the Court of Appeal upheld the consent as valid. Over 14 suits were dismissed in later years as res judicata. Yet lawyers like Mbobu kept pressing. How can you sell land worth billions at a throwaway price when even the bank itself admitted it did not know the exact amount owed? Before his death, Mbobu reminded the courts Justice Joyce Haminwa ruled that KCB manufactured account statements. A bank manager admitted in 2009 he didn't know the debt figure. The original securities were Nyandarua properties, not Muiri Coffee Estate. This was the battle he died in the middle of. The judiciary says it has nothing to hide, but Kenyans see something different. A whistleblower names judges. A lawyer is assassinated hours later. By sunrise, the judiciary absolves itself. Who benefits from silencing Mbobu? The bank, the so-called cartels, or the system meant to protect justice? Kenyans ask.
To close this matter, it is now more important than ever before that the call to storm the Supreme Court building and demand the resignation of CJ Martha Koome be undertaken. We need to do this because it cannot be that serious questions of integrity and accountability are raised against the judiciary and the Judicial Service Commission. Then they send Paul Ndemo to come and speak rubbish Yet these offices they occupy are paid from our public funds. Litigants and advocates, we must take action. And the action is first, the removal of CJ Martha Koome from office, and second, the disbandment of the JSC and its reconstitution. Those two are the solutions to eradicating corruption and impunity in the judiciary once and for all.
President Ruto has repeatedly accused the judiciary of being captured by cartels. Lawyers and politicians have openly questioned its independence. Now, with a lawyer dead and judges named, the perception of a sinking institution is only growing. When cases drag for 30 years, when billions vanish in the name of debt recovery, when lawyers are killed for fighting back, and when the judiciary dismisses it all as noise, what does that say about justice in Kenya? 17 judges named, 1 lawyer dead, a 3 billion Kenyan shilling scandal unresolved, and a judiciary claiming innocence. If this isn't a sinking ship, Kenyans ask, then what is? Newsroom, Maisha TV, Bushabi Jr.